Welcome back to Speed Sport Magazine and our conversation with AJ Foyt. The dirt tracks of America helped define and mold AJ into one of the most successful racing drivers of all time. But which track presented him with the greatest challenge? And which driver was Foyt most proud to beat? It's time now for the conclusion of our chat with the Sprint Car Hall of Famer. You raced with all these great names at that era, but still, even though they were great, they were checking the timesheet to see where you were. Because in so many ways, you were setting the bar for what everybody else was doing. Even though they had Hall of Fame careers, they were still checking to see where AJ was at. How did that make you feel to know that when you were at the track, you were the one everybody was gunning for? Was that good? Did you like being the top dog, or would you prefer to have been?
I never looked like it. When I went to the racetrack, I thought I was just equal, same as everybody else. I never thought I was the big guy. I was just AJ, and if there's 20 people there or 50 people, I thought I was just one of them. And I felt like if there's 50 people there or 20 people, whatever it was, I had to beat them. And that's the way I always looked at racing. My job was to try to do the best job I could for myself. So
you respected those men, and you felt like they probably helped build that image for you?
I think so, but you know, I looked at them and they was just as good as I was. Now, who's going to win that day? I don't know. But I know one thing. I'm going to try to beat you, and I know you're going to try to beat me. And that was my attitude.
Everybody wanted to beat AJ, especially on those dirt tracks, because they felt if they could beat you there, that'd make a name for them. So a lot of guys probably drove you a lot harder than they needed to.
I would say so, yeah. I know a couple times right at the end of the day, on a couple laps ago or something, where I'd be chopped off, you know, catch the guy and how they do everything. And I don't know, yeah. I would say some of them drove harder, but that made me drive harder too.
You see the Knoxvilles and the Eldoras and Charlotte, the dirt tracks, compared to some of the places you ran on. Can you believe where dirt track racing is, how it's grown with sweet boxes and, you know, all the fancy stuff now?
Well, I think that's what's breaking a lot of them too. Instead of just having a regular grandstand, they cost so much to operate and keep them going. And you take a look at the sprint cars, look at the tires, how wide they are and all that, what the motors cost and all that. You know, racing for an owner, it's just kind of gotten out of sight price-wise. I don't care, from midgets up. Who would ever think, you know, midget motors 40 and 50,000 and things like that, and including the sprint cars, and you take stock cars over $1 million budget, Indy cars over $1 million budget. It's unbelievable. And then you look at some of the super speedways, multi-million-dollar speedways. Well, somebody's got to pay for that, and the fans have to. And I think that's one reason that you're seeing the crowds off as much as they are, because of that. People just have so much money for sports and what tickets. You know, I'll never forget a long time ago when I told somebody, I said, oh, you can get an infield for $5 or $10. He called me back, he said, AJ, it's right at 100. I said, 100? I said, if you told $100 when I was racing, I thought you done robbed somebody or killed somebody. But, it just costs so much.
Yeah. The racers that are out there now that have made names for themselves in dirt track racing, Steve Kinser, Sammy Swindell, Tony Stewart, Donnie Schatz. Is there anybody of that group that you would love to have had an opportunity to race on the dirt with?
Well, you know, when I raced, you had good names back then. In my time, I felt like I was pretty good. Now, would I have been good with them? Nobody will ever know. Before my time, would I have been good? Who knows? But in my time, I was pretty good. Was
there a dirt track that you ever felt you couldn't conquer? Was there one that ever got the best of you?
I never liked a real dry, slick track. I ran good on them. And probably one of the hardest ones I'd have working on was actually Allentown, Pennsylvania. They get so slick. But I would finally get to working, but it was hard.
So you liked a good heavy track?
I like the heavy track. Yeah, the cushion, yeah. And I'll tell you what, probably on the East Coast, cushion and no cushion, probably one guy I respected on the dirt, and if you beat him, you beat someone, was Tommy Hendershitz. He was older than I was, a lot older, and he's deceased now, but when you beat him on a heavy track, you said you beat somebody. He run 2 wheels more than he ever run 4 wheels. You'd always see the car bicycle, but he was unbelievable on the dirt.
So as you look back at those dirt track days and what they meant, even with all the success at Indy, do you feel like it was the sprint cars and the midgets and the champ cars that helped get AJ Foyt to the opportunity to become a legend at Indy?
It got me here. And like I say, that's where I come from, and that's what got me here. If it wouldn't have been for that, and the way racing is today, AJ Foyt would probably never got here. I'm no politician. I don't go kiss butts. Nowadays, you got to do that. I still won't do it.
You know, the way things are in sports these days, it's great to hear a superstar mix a nice combination of candid comments with some humility. When Speed Sport Magazine returns, we're going to hike up our left front and sling some mud as we go modified racing in America's heartland. Since 1934, National Speed Sport News has been America's motorsports authority. Every month, Speed Sport Magazine comes alive with stunning photography, insightful commentary, and in-depth features. You will get the full story with Speed Sport Magazine. To start your home delivery of America's motorsports authority, log on to nationalspeedsportnews.com and hit the big yellow subscribe button. Be the fan in the know. Just go to nationalspeedsportnews.com and click subscribe.